Huge risk capital you can afford to lose if you're playing this game. This is E for eminywizard.com and marketwizards.com. All right, anybody that's got to the 53.75, 53s, make sure you're paid. There's about a dime off of the high. We've got 49.5 area as a half gap. We're going to use that as support. We said this spike right here is an aggressive support. You can see where it dried up, started coming back, and then dried up and went long side. So these trade, this is our squeeze pivot right here. Anybody that's got themselves a few points already, first thing this morning, lock it. Not looking for a huge trade. Said would be lucky to get back to the 58s, 55s early. We've done that. Anytime we can do that, celebrate. Just because we had these huge runs, don't expect today is going to be a carbon copy of what we've had the last few days. And we said, let's take a look inside that yesterday's RTH range, and let's trade that first. This is just a common sense, okay, hope it works. So paid by these 53s, 53.75. And this is the intraday chart. Okay, and what I've done here is shrink the ring down a bit by going to a 3-minute chart instead of that 5. They're going to give us a little early look at potential resistance and support. And so that's one way to do it, is just change your time frame a bit. And I do believe that we'll have a fairly choppy open. And if you miss trades, that's going to come with the territory today. Don't chase anything today. Either get the trade you want or forget about it. And we should get two-way action today. I'm not looking for a sustained reaction in any direction right now. Just think it's range type trading. And there's a good case to be made for both sides today. You have to think two ways. Certainly the trend trade is down, so you have to give credibility to the shorts to take another shot at it. But because of the length of the move and the holiday coming, we also want to think about some traders, not that they want to go long, but that some of the shorts may want to cover and take some profits. So here's our 10-minute chart. We got a pivot point in here. You can see how that's stepped to the plate. And if you want to change this to a 5 or whatever, you can do that too. I kind of like the 15s. I think the 10 is the right chart for now, but I want to see a little more depth. And for this to really work for the shorts, you've got to get under this blue line and stay here. Then the umbrella trade is all over again. And it may take some time to do. And typically we use the 5-minute chart. I've got a 3 on right now. Quick review of our monthlies. Trying to penetrate back. They can't stay. It's still bouncing. And in this box, Clearly, this has been rejected for now. And this is our fighting box. And clearly 1, 2, 3 boxes and the fourth rejected right now. Don't overtrade. I think we have a real case of overtrading right now. Be very, very conservative about your expectations, either side. And the burden is on the longs to keep the squeeze going and try to run stops. So today I'm going to suggest hit and run. Grab a few points and be done. Get her done early. We'll take a look at a couple of the other charts. Now, this is a little double. And make sure you are paid. We said we're going to use this 49 and a half half gap as probably the obvious support since it's the middle. And if you get yourself anywhere close here, just take that hit and run trade and put a few bucks in your pocket if you can. There's that 15-minute chart. We keep hitting a pivot point in here. So right now, this is what we suggested would be a pre-market. We said, okay, let's use this zone right here, this 48 area for our support. And then obviously we're going to try back here. So that gives us a range from that 68 and a half. We said, let's use that as our resistance. This is an aggressive resistance. This is an aggressive support. And all we're trying to do is get the initial trading range that we think it's going to revolve in. It has nothing to do necessarily with the moving averages. That's just to help us get a guide. It has more to do with that range than anything. And then we can see that proportionate. So putting that into perspective is what we're saying is the opening range that we are expecting. Hope that makes sense. And that's all you can do. And you don't have to, just because you think the skirmish lines are here, you don't have to play if you don't want to. You can say, wait a minute, I don't like this open. I'm afraid of it. I don't know what to do. So you stay sideline. But we try to, even if you don't take trades, mentally we try to understand where the game is, and we keep moving and adjusting as the market moves. That's all you can do. Baseball, guy gets on first base. Okay, got a man on first. Who's up? How many outs? What's the score? What's the inning? News is coming in a couple of minutes. My guess is this is not a natural buy as much as it is shorts taking profits ahead of news. Sequence trade. We shall see. Sideline for news, my suggestion, and then we'll react. So anybody that went flat for news, don't forget, we said this was going to be a squeeze pivot. If you went flat for news and you want to take a second shot at the short, be a little bit patient, I think. If you miss it, you miss it. Anybody long side? Got a range type trade right now? Still using the same resistance, same support. And I think we've got a fairly choppy open. If you take another short now and it hits your stop, cool off. Just relax and spread out a little time between your trades. There's an important double right here, which we had said earlier would be a squeeze pivot. And I've got 62.5 as our demon for now. Now, to clarify, we said today you may want to think about buying some pullbacks, but we don't recommend buying a pullback right ahead of news. So although this looks good, like, yeah, why didn't we just do that? Because news was coming. That's not, it would not be a typical play that we would advocate because you're putting the risk on right ahead of news. And these are the things that look good on paper, but the reality of it is, in terms of executing the trades, that's not the timing that you'd like to put it on. It's the timing you want to take off a trade if you were short. And when we observe that it's still here, then we can conclude, okay, that's support for now, till proven otherwise. And that really is a squeeze pivot until broken. I'm thinking today is going to be whack-a-mole, that we can probably play two ways, but we're going to find that we start to make a higher high and a higher low idea. And then end of the day is anything goes. Double top test. And these can board just below or just above. And we're still using the same resistance zone above we talked about before. A retest for those of you who are fairly good at math. If this holds, and that's a big if, that's in the 51 area. Don't forget, we've got that prior weekly retest, which would be at 71. That'll be a 20-point trade from here. That may play out before we're done. But first things first, you got to get by 68.5, which we said we were going to use as our initial resistance. So far, that's worked for a reasonable trade short side. Range type trading for now, that's all we know. Shorts today will need to defend the pink line and undermine the blue line and keep it here. So far, not much luck keeping it below this 58. Thank you, Zeke. Zeke has pointed out at yesterday's middle, we are now challenging 64.25. Great post, Zeke. Anybody long side, make sure you are paid. What time is it? A little bit after 10. Make sure you're paid. We're going to need several rotations, I think. There's a nice trade, probably goosed a bit by the boys after profit taking started, but a fairly choppy open, as we said we might get. Good post, Zeke. Thank you for reminding us. That's the point of using side by side. We know that this is support until broken, right? Yesterday's low. We're using that high right here as resistance, which would be RTH high. And first things first, you got to get into this box up here, top of the pipe. And we're saying that's our resistance for now. And don't be surprised at little swings back and forth as the market should be somewhat confused today. The holiday will have something to do with it. Multiple gaps will have something to do with it. The big plunge, profit taking will have something to do with it. Trend traders are going to hit bounces. They're going to take their stop outs and then they're going to try one more time without being stubborn. But we want to look for evidence of support and support and support back here. All these are clues, right? So that's a support back there at that 39 area. This is a support right in here, 45 area. Clearly 49.5 support, 51. And it takes time and rotations for the market to reveal itself. I still think range type trading for now with a slight bias for a dead cat bounce. Not a rip roaring snorting bull, but a dead cat bounce. And longs need to get it above, obviously, the overnight high to put any type of squeeze on. Range type trading, all we know. Not quite a double top, but retest failure for sure until we take out that high. I'm still suggesting think small. Market has not tipped its hand yet what it wants to do. It's just hit some resistance. That's all. We have found some support and we're range trading that box right now. Here's our swing chart. We can see that this box has been abandoned. That 30 area that we said, let's use that for support. Now we're testing the next box. Market has to hold up here, not just get there, but hold it too by the end of the day. Important chart, really. And you can see just how far we've come. I, for one, am not sure why anyone would want to hold over a long holiday with anything going on, but what do I know? At a 14-point range, middle right now, that 58, as we thought it might become. Two-way day for now. And don't trust anything. Do not trust any move, especially the long side. We can squeeze and squeeze and then a heartbeat turn around and come flying back. Just the way that corrective markets operate.